So it all happened on a Friday afternoon. I was on my way home after getting my groceries, and I saw a girl in the porch of a townhouse in the same street, in a house in the same street where I used to live. When I passed beside her, I think that she was like 10 or 11 years old. And when I passed beside her, I noticed that she was crying and that she was soaking wet. Hi, I'm Marc. I'm from Barcelona. I'm 42. I'm separating, getting divorced. Because of that, I just moved into my new apartment here in Barcelona 2 weeks before everything started. I have a daughter. She is living with my wife. And since I've moved in, I decided to run, to practice to run, because I want to run a marathon. This is one of my lifetime projects. And I never ran before in my life, but I'm very decided to do it as a challenge because I want to prove myself that I can do it. Things on my own, and at the same time, I'm a big Tom Hanks fan, and because of that, I decided to let my beard and my hair grow until I finish the marathon as an homage to Forrest Gump. So I stopped and I asked her, "Are you okay?" And she answered me, "No, I'm not okay. I'm waiting for my grandmother. She was supposed to be here at my dad's place, but there's no one in the house." And she was crying, and I was like, kind of, "Okay, do you know somebody's number that we can call? Maybe your dad's number?" And she told me that she only remembered her mom's number. So we called the mom, but the number we were dialing was out of coverage at the time. So I told her that I would go to my place to leave my groceries and then I'll come back. So I went home, I leave my groceries, I get some of my wife's clothes, and I came back where the girl was. When I arrived, she was shivering from cold. So I lent her my wife's t-shirt and hoodie, and I told her that if she wanted to use it, she could get changed. And I turned around. She told me that there was no need to turn around. But anyway, I did it. She told me that her name was Emma, that she was 10 years old, that she told me the name of the school she was going on. And she told me that that day was the foam party at the school. She was wet because she was at the foam party. And then she started to ask me questions about me. She told me what was my name, where did I live, where was I working at, and that kind of questions. And then suddenly she remembered the babysitter's number. The babysitter gave us the dad's number, and we called the dad. But the number we were dialing was off and out of coverage at the time. So we called back the babysitter, and she told us that she will get dressed and they will stand with Emma until the dad will arrive. When we were waiting the babysitter, I have a conversation with Emma that I will never forget. She told me that when she will grow up, she will be a divorce lawyer. 10-year-old that wants to be a divorce lawyer, you have to be like, I don't know. When that happened, so it was a very mature conversation with someone with 10-year-old. At least for me, it was kind of a strange thing that never happened before, having a conversation with someone like her. Then it was like when the babysitter arrived. They embraced each other like a grandmother will embrace his granddaughter. And they were thanking me all the time. And I was saying there was no problem, that it was a pleasure, but I didn't want to leave until they called Emma's dad. So the babysitter called Emma's dad, and he finally answered the phone. But I don't know what he was doing that it was so important for him that day that he couldn't leave to go with his daughter at the time, that they arranged that Emma and the babysitter will wait for Emma's dad to come back from whatever he was doing and pick up Emma at the babysitter's house. So it was time for us to say goodbye. And at that point, Emma was more worried about how she will return my wife's clothes than anything else in the world. I told her that she didn't have to worry and we will figure it out. And when we were saying goodbye, she looked at me in a way that no one else looked at me before. 10-year-old looking at you like you're a hero. Because at that time, I was a hero for her. It really filled me made me feel important, made me feel like a superhero to her. So it was like, say goodbye. I kept that memory, I kept that look in my memory, and I went home. And when I arrived, I decided to open my laptop, check on the recipe for a pad thai, and go to the groceries. Yes, I want to cook a pad thai for my wife. It was her favorite meal since we went to Thailand for our honeymoon. So I grabbed all the ingredients. I stopped at the wine shop, bought my wife's favorite wine to make the perfect meal for her. I was chopping the peppers. My wife get into the house. The meal was not ready, so I told her, just go to the bathroom, have a bath, and then I'll bring you a glass of wine, and I want to explain you what happened to me today. She looked at me, in a very weird way, but she told me, okay, who couldn't say no to a plan like having a bath and have a glass of wine? So yes, great. She went there, she took the bath, I brought the glass of wine, and I told her, we all have to get dressed up for that dinner, please, okay? So we were ready to have our dinner together. The pad thai was there, hot, getting like everything ready, and I pour her more wine, and we couldn't eat. I couldn't eat. I need to explain what happened to us. Really, it was like explaining the conversation that I had with Emma that afternoon, explaining me how this little girl was talking more mature than most people on their 20s or 30s, and having that conversation and explaining to her made her look at me in a way that it was a long time she was not looking at me. So she stood up from the table and she brought me to the bedroom. When we were back, the pad thai was cold, but 9 months later, my daughter Emma was born. So who cares about the pad thai then?
You are a superhero, Mark. You really are.
Very lovely.
That's lovely.
Very touching.
You made it.
Then life changed, and I don't know, your wife is not your wife anymore, and your daughter is still your daughter, but I still want to be at least a superhero for my daughter. So.
You are a superhero. You've got to see that. Why do you feel like you're not a superhero anymore? Why do you feel like?
I don't know. I'm looking at Tom Hanks films, and he's the common guy, and he wants to be a superhero, and he doesn't want to be a superhero, but he becomes a superhero, and it's something that the only thing I can do, it's what I'm doing now. It's training to run a marathon, to run my first marathon, to prove my daughter that I can be a hero. So it's like I'm training in just being here. There's no way to train, but it's a promise that I have to.
Mark, you have 1 minute.
Like even the words are nearly coming out of my mouth, so.
Sorry, I've got really, really bad hay fever today. All I heard was something about 10-year-olds in Thailand. What?
He's a hero. You missed the story, John. You should take him.
John, did you have too much tea?
Mark.
All I heard was divorce. I saw divorce lawyers and Chris perked up.
It's fine, John. It's okay. No worries.
Mark, you just.
I think your brain lives in the gutter.
Good stuff. Mark is a superhero, right, guys?
There you go.
Mark is a superhero, guys, isn't he?
No, come on.
John too.
Even you for the marathon.
Oh yeah.
You have to do some training.
I never run in my life before, so.
Mark, I know I can't contact you, but after this.